Actually, let's discuss about the prioritizing the cloud security. Before that, actually, I will discuss about certain things actually about the cloud market growth and about what is misconfiguration. Let's come to that. Actually, the cloud market cap is raised from 101 $11 billion in 2020, and it is increased to 482 billion in 2022. Okay, and what about the misconfiguration? Misconfiguration is just the configuration or a issue with a service or the resource setting actually which leads to the vulnerabilities actually which can impact like in the form of unauthorized access and exposure of sensitive data and many more. Now let's discuss actually why actually this is happening. Do you know actually how basically resources are deployed in the cloud? Actually, most of the time, infrastructure facilitated using the APIs. That means that actually you are using the Terraform for deploying the cloud infrastructure. Second thing is the mismanagement of the interconnected services. Like for example, if you are deploying a EC2 instance and a subnet, like for example, and a VPC, there are a high chances of the mismanagement. For example, you created a security group and then you forgot to delete and many other things. And second thing is the lack of visibility and comprehensive understanding of resource interaction. Like for example, the main thing in the security that comes up the visibility. Okay. Next thing is about the misconception around the shared responsibility. Clients thinks actually, the customer thinks actually, I just be responsible for just deploying the services. Like for example, if I misconfiguring a security group, that they thinks actually it is the CSP responsibility, like the cloud service provider. That is the thing. Now I'm coming to the next slide. That is discussed. That is around the transformation in the security. How actually the traditional security works actually. Traditionally, actually, we have the network firewall, okay, which is basically the boundary of your network, okay. But in cloud, the network security is shifted to first thing is the identity centric. Like there actually, if a user has to access your resources, that should have the access to your network, first thing. But in cloud, here actually the user is lying in actually in cloud actually you need the user but just need the access of your AWS cloud console, then he can access your resources. Okay, that is the one of the transformation actually which has come from network to the identity centric. Okay, second thing is you are solely responsible, means actually you have to manage everything, every resources, okay, in the on-prem, like for example, for the hardware failure, everything actually you have to manage. Okay, but in cloud actually there is the concept of the shared responsibility model, which we will discuss in this later actually in this. Second thing is the identities. Okay, while actually we are discussing on-prem actually, identities are just the users only. Okay, but in cloud, with the introduction of the cloud, they have introduced the machine identity. Means actually a EC2 instance can be an identity if it's a role associated with that. Okay, and it brings actually unique challenges with that actually, which we will discuss later in this slide. Yeah, now let's understand the shared responsibility model. Okay, just consider I'm just living in an apartment actually where certain of the responsibilities for which the building management is the responsible, and for certain of the things actually for which I am responsible. Okay, just consider, for example, they provided door phone, security camera, which is basically recording every transaction actually, who is coming, who is basically all the public places. Like they provided access card to basically open the door of my flat. That's the thing. They also provided a lock and the key. Okay, but actually my responsibility. If someone is coming, okay, then I have to check before opening the door. Okay, if I open the door for everyone, that is my responsibility. I am allowing everything in my flat. That's the thing. Second thing is the working and the space safe. Okay, like for example, if I just open my door open for all the time, okay, so in this building management is not responsible if something is stolen from my home. Okay, so that's the thing. Same concept actually is applicable to the shared responsibility model actually, where AWS is responsible for managing the security of the underlying infra. Like for example, in the data center, they are responsible for the hardware, electricity, everything. Okay, they are responsible. But customer is also responsible for managing the identity and the access management. For example, you created a user in your AWS account, okay, and you created a access key and the secret key. So managing access key and the secret key, it is your responsibility. You cannot expose it to the public, okay. If you just put it over the LinkedIn and you can say that AWS is responsible for securing this. No, boss, actually, it is not. It is your responsibility. Like same thing in the case of the operating system network, firewall configuration, and another thing is the encryption, like client-side encryption, server-side encryption. That is your responsibility, basically, the rotation of the keys and also yeah. Next thing is about the some basic concept actually, which I am just going to give you an overview actually of the some of the cloud basics, so that actually we can easy to understand basically what actually we are prioritizing. Like EC2 is basically a scalable computing service on demand over which we access over the internet. That's the thing. Now I'm coming to the next thing, that is the security group. Security group you can consider is just a firewall, okay, which is used to control the inbound and the outbound traffic. That's the another thing. Now is the volume. For example, you have to store certain things actually, like which you do over a laptop. So in cloud, we say it volume, that is the persistent storage, which basically allowing you to store and access the data. And another concept is of the IAM, user and the policy and the group. In the IAM basically stands for the identity and the access management, whereas basically a user is just an identity and role is role and the policy. Another thing is the KMS. It is KMS stands for the key management system, basically, which allows you to create, manage, and control the encryption key used to secure the data. For example, you have the volumes, but you need to encrypt that with your customer managed key or the AWS managed key. It is up to you, but you have to create some of the keys. Next thing is the machine identity, which we previously also discussed. Okay, what is machine identity? Machine identity is just basically a compute resource, okay, to which actually you have provided the permissions, okay. Just consider in this diagram actually there is an EC2 instance which has a role is associated. Basically, this role will have certain privileges associated with it, and using that privilege, it can access your S3 bucket. That is the thing actually. It is about machine identity. Like for example, currently in this diagram, actually we have shown it is accessing the S3. But if we can provide it admin privilege, like just provided admin privilege, so it can create a user in your AWS account as well. That is the another thing actually. You can consider it as an identity. Okay. Now I'm coming to the next slide. That is about the risks associated with the machine identity. Okay. So in this diagram, actually, you can see we have a virtual machine. Okay. What can be the risks associated? What do you think? Anyone wants to answer? Basically, EC2 is just an resource actually. Okay. You can consider it in layman language, it is just a laptop. Okay. I'm not saying it is exactly, but just consider in layman language. So what kind of risks is associated with your laptop? Vulnerabilities, malware, that are the two risks. Okay. So here actually there is an AWS virtual machine is there, okay, which has a log4j shell vulnerability. Okay. And it is exposed to the public, like it is internet gateway, AWS VPC subnet and the network. Okay, so if anyone wants to access this machine, then he will get the access of the whole AWS account. Okay, just see this thing. Now, for example, if attacker attack this log4j shell vulnerability, okay, then from here actually he can do the lateral movement, okay, or he can also do the SSH brute force. Okay, it is just about credentials actually, guessing the credentials. So that's the thing. Actually, if he gets that thing by any of the method actually, so he can get the access to your AWS virtual machine. After that, basically, he can do the lateral movement to the admin user. And then basically from there, actually, he can create the access keys. And then basically he can access the customer databases. That's the kind of thing actually. With just exposing a machine actually, how many risks are introduced actually. Okay. Now, next thing actually, I want to discuss some of the examples of the misconfigurations. Like you have a security group, okay, which is allowing access you to from the port 22. Okay, that is one case. Another is another is basically boot volume lacking the encryption with a customer managed key, and third one is you have an attached block volume is associated. Okay, so these are the three things. Or the fourth one is the user with admin access, okay, and without MFA. That is the fourth case. And fifth case is the private machine identity with admin privilege. Okay. Previously we have discussed about the what kind of risks are associated with the machine identity. Okay. Now we have another thing is the misconfiguration. That is basically the admin privilege with port 22 open from the public. Okay. Now actually we have to fix this. If basically in an environment, if we get such kind of misconfigurations, okay, just let's consider misconfiguration A is coming 400 times. Misconfiguration B is coming 1000 times. Misconfiguration C is coming again 1000 or for the each. I'm just considering a rough number. So basically how we will prioritize. That is the thing. Okay, like for prioritizing, fixing all the misconfiguration at once, it is not possible. So that's why actually we need the prioritization. Before that actually, I'm coming to the next slide. That is, I want to discuss some of the statics. Like 23% of the cloud security incidents are caused by the misconfigurations. That you can understand 1/4 of the incidents actually which are happening, which are just due to the cloud misconfigurations. Like someone exposed a S3 public to the bucket and that has the client details. Are you getting this point? Another thing is the 27% of businesses have experienced security breach in the public cloud network, in the public cloud infrastructure. And what are the top concerns? That is the IAM misconfigurations. Okay, if in IAM misconfigurations and the insecure access key, lack of security monitoring, insecure data backups. Okay. Like I have seen in many environments, people just create the access key, okay, with the admin privilege and they never rotate that key, okay. Sometimes they put it over the GitHub as well, okay. And from there actually attackers taking that keys actually and log into their environments. Second thing is insufficient access restriction. Insufficient access restrictions are like no one knows actually what a user is required. Okay, they are just raising the request. We need the access. Okay, and they get the access like the admin access. But they actually, is it really required? Is they really need the admin access? That is the another thing. And 82% misconfigurations are due to the human errors, not the software defects. That is the another point. Okay. Next thing is the 89 of startups are impacted by cloud misconfiguration. Do you any? Why actually the startups having the most of the misconfigurations? Yeah, these are the some of the open questions. Now basically how basically these are impacting. Like the data breach. Okay, impact of a misconfiguration, like someone has exposed an S3 bucket to the public. Then what can be there? What can be the impact? First impact is the data breach actually. Like S3 bucket containing the sensitive data, like the credit card information, and you have exposed to the public, then anyone can access the data. Okay. Another point is unauthorized access. The same thing. You expose the port 22 to the public or keeping the default password on the EC2 instance. That is the another case. Second thing is if they got the access, you have hosted the production in that environment, they can basically shut down all of your resources like EC2 and your service will be disrupted. Okay. Next thing is the compliance violation, not using the encryption. There are certain CIS standards actually, so that you are not following that thing. Another point is the financial loss. Actually, if service got disrupted, definitely you will have financial loss as well as the reputational loss as well. Okay. Now I'm coming to the next slide. You have certain misconfigurations. Now, anyone will tell me actually how you will prioritize it. Let's do just some guesses. Sorry. Okay. Admin privilege. Okay. Actually, unattached volume is just someone has created a volume in the AWS account and left it. It has the person has not attached it to any of the resources. Okay, they just left it. Okay. Actually, as per the CIS recommends you should not have the unattached volume. Okay, that is I keeping from that point as well, like compliance as well. CSPM actually everything is coming. So I'm just keeping this point from that perspective. Okay, now actually how we will prioritize? You said the IAM actually we should prioritize first. Okay, and why actually we should prioritize the IAM first? Yeah, based on the privilege associated. Okay, that is one thing. IAM. Anything else? Okay. Okay. You are saying second point is allowing the port. First point, port 22 should not be allowed from the public port 22. Okay. Anything else? Sorry. Public machine identity with admin privilege with port 22 are open from the public. Okay. Now there actually what we are doing actually here, we are just prioritizing, okay, based on certain things. Okay, the same thing actually which I am, if I am applying, I just what we are trying to do actually here, that is we are control identification based on the risks. First one is the IAM, second you said the port 22. Okay, that is we can say it is a kind of external risks, risks from the external. Okay, so for what we have done here, we have basically done the risk classification, like the external, compliance, internal, IAM. Okay, I just classified based on that. Okay, now if I just go on this, okay, like misconfiguration one, okay, A, that is basically the external risks. Okay, next thing actually we have the misconfiguration B, that is basically the compliance risks. Okay, I don't think so it is an internal or external. Do you agree with me? Yeah. Next thing is the unattached block volume present in the environment. It might be a compliance or the just an internal risk. Okay, it is just increasing cost of our environment AWS account. Okay. Now the same thing actually we have done with the misconfiguration with the user D. That is basically a IAM user. Okay, IAM. And do you agree with the external point as well? Yeah. Next thing is the machine identity with admin privilege. It is an IAM plus internal because the EC2 instance here is the private. That's the another point. And in the misconfiguration app, actually, we have the public machine identity with admin privilege with port 22 open from the public IAM plus the external. Port 22 is the, we can basically trying to basically categorize the risk. Okay, first we defined it like previously we have defined it 4 type of risks. Okay, based on that actually we can have n types of risks. Okay, and type of classification, but I will say not keep the more than 10. Okay, if we just that is basically the from the over classification perspective. Okay, so next thing is actually we have basically classified this risk. Okay, now actually based on the risk we have classified, now we can easily prioritize these misconfigurations based on the risks associated. Like for example, if a thing is IAM plus the external, then it becomes the most risky thing. Do you agree, or if anyone disagree, then that will be a good thing. Then the external thing, then we have the IAM plus internal, and then I have given the compliance as well, because compliance is one of the critical thing. Okay, it is basically how it this prioritization is basically how quickly we have to respond to these risks. Okay, that's my point. Next thing is the internal, like it is costing. Okay, might be for some organization cost is the top priority, so they can keep these things on the top priority, but it is up to them. Based on the risks, actually I prioritize this risk and we can easily fix this vulnerability. Yeah. Next. Yeah. Yeah, 4x. Yeah, yeah, the compliance risk is also the, we can say, like what actually I have given in here actually in the compliance, that is the lacking encryption with a customer managed key. Okay, like for that actually we can have certain policies in our organization, like we can remediate these vulnerabilities, the SLA is 30 days or 60 days. Okay, but for the other, like for an IM plus external, like SLA cannot be the 30 days. If you detect it, you have to fix it within the seconds. That's the reason. Yeah. Yeah. Um, sorry. Actually, you are saying the impact. Yeah. Yes, yes. Actually, that actually we have not considered here. Okay, but if IM plus external, okay, if someone has the admin privilege, okay, impact will be always high. Okay, in an AWS account. Okay, just consider you have a AWS account. You that have the admin privilege. Okay, and you have exposed it the access key over the LinkedIn. Okay, just see actually, you have given all of your whole AWS account to the attacker. Yeah, we can also include the business risks as well. Okay, that basically will helpful from the third point. Okay, in first two actually, if we keep business impact or not, that will basically, that will not basically in terms of the response actually from our side, that should be the first thing. Okay, from the third point actually we can add the business impact as well. Yeah. Any other questions? Sorry. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, yeah. Basically, I just taken the certain controls. I have not included any of the product name. So that is the, basically it's just for the neutral thing. Yeah, generic. Basically, it is just about, you can use any tool like any open source or any other solution like the Qualys Total Cloud as well. Okay. But yeah, basically we can. Anything else? A- Any other questions? Yeah, this is some of the references actually which I used last year. Actually, I written a blog actually. I just given here and they accepted. So I just prepared the presentation. Yeah, thank you.